The Klipsch Cinema 1200 Dolby Atmos Soundbar offers a ton of high performance features and cool technology. So in this tips and tricks guide, we will cover everything you need to know, from understanding what all the buttons and modes mean to the best speaker placement options so you can get the most optimized three-dimensional sound stage for just about any room. So let's get started. After you get everything out of the box, the first thing you'll want to do is decide whether or not you want to mount the bar to a wall or just position it underneath your TV. A wall mounting template plus brackets to mount the bar are included in the box. However, we think most people will probably just place this on a tabletop or a console under their TV. If you are placing it under your TV, it's always a good idea to separate the bar from the TV to give the upward firing drivers enough clearance to direct the sound up to your ceiling. Okay, next, you want to get the positions of the side speakers right for your room. You will get the most immersive experience if you can put them on either side of your couch with the bottom of the speaker right at your ear level. We recommend positioning each one on a tabletop or speaker stand so the Atmos speakers can fire sound up towards the ceilings. Be sure nothing is in the way, such as a plant or a lampshade that could obstruct the sound waves from reaching the ceiling. Also, make sure to point the front speakers towards your ears rather than towards the TV. Okay, once you have the side speakers positioned where you like them, you'll want to make the adjustments to the levels for each surround speaker, the front height speakers and the rear height speakers, which are built into the surrounds, and also the subwoofer. The remote control has some dedicated buttons that will help you dial in these levels by ear. The surround button, labeled SUR or S-U-R, cycles through each surround sound channel so you can manually adjust the levels of each speaker from -6 to +6. The front panel display will show you the channel that you are making adjustments to, and this is not immediately apparent unless you consult the manual, so I'm just going to walk you through what each one means here in this video. When you press the surround button for the first time, the LED display on the Cinema 1200 will display LSR. This stands for left surround speaker. Press the surround button again and you will see RSR, and this stands for right surround speaker. Press the surround button a third time and you will see FHT on your display, and this stands for front height speaker. Finally, press the surround button a fourth time and this will show you BHT, and this stands for back height speakers. Holding down the surround button for a few seconds will reset all of these surround levels back to default level of 0. So remember this as you're making adjustments and just want to start over from scratch. Getting a balanced, immersive experience here will require a little more experimentation with these adjustments, but here's a point of reference to use. If the surround speakers are within 4 feet or less of your main listening position, you should have their levels set somewhere around 0. In some rooms, one speaker may be further away than the other, and in that case, you should experiment with increasing the volume of the other one that's further away. Getting the height channels adjusted will depend on your room and how far you are seated from the bar. In most rooms, you'll be much closer to the surround speakers than the bar. If this is your case, with a flat ceiling, set the front height channels to somewhere between +4 and +6, and the back height speakers to between 0 and +2. On a great Dolby Atmos track, you will want it to sound like the height effects go all the way between your ears and the TV. If you're sitting closer and the surround speakers containing the rear height channels are about the same distance from you and the main bar, try setting both the front height and back height levels between 0 and +2. For those of you with vaulted ceilings, you will need to experiment more with the levels to get things balanced, but these will be good starting points. Next, the correct placement of the subwoofer is crucial for an immersive experience that is well balanced. Subwoofers will produce the most bass output when they are in a corner, but putting a subwoofer completely shoved into a corner can cause your bass to be boomy in some rooms. We suggest, if you can, put it about 12 inches away from the sidewall and a few inches off the back wall. Now, while it is tempting to turn the level of the sub up to overwhelm your room with bass, and this subwoofer that comes with the 1200 is certainly capable of that, you should try to balance it so you can still hear the dialogue even when big explosions are happening. For most rooms, anywhere between 0 and +2 will be your best setting. If you hold down the sub button, it will reset the subwoofer level back to the default level. And here's a pro tip. While the bass coming out of this wireless sub is impressive, if you're a bass junkie, then you can add a second wired subwoofer to improve the bass response for more natural sounding bottom and weight and impact. If you already have a sub, you have the flexibility of connecting it up with more than one subwoofer output. There are actually 2 wired outputs, the one on the back of the bar and the one on the back of the wireless subwoofer. And this allows you to add on an additional sub without a wire being tethered to the soundbar itself. And this is really handy if you want to have both subs in the back of the room on opposite corners, for example. If you use wired subwoofers that also have an RCA output, you technically could have as many additional subwoofers as you want. And yes, you could use the wired output on the soundbar and the wired output on the wireless sub simultaneously, in addition to the included wireless sub. Super cool. Okay, next, let's discuss the other buttons on the remote control. On the remote, you'll see a dedicated button for each source. Pressing and holding the Bluetooth button will initialize pairing mode, so you can pair up your smartphone or tablet with the Cinema 1200. If you've connected an analog audio source, such as a laptop, CD player, or a smart device via the 3.5 stereo mini plug to the analog input on the back of the soundbar, then the analog button will let you select that as an analog source. You can also use this connection if your TV does not support HDMI ARC or digital optical connectivity. However, it's important to note, this connection does not support Dolby Atmos or Dolby Digital decoding. The digital button is useful for digital audio sources with an optical output, such as CD players, audio servers, or streaming audio players. You will want to use the TV button whenever you want to use your TV as the source switch for external HDMI sources for playing Dolby Atmos audio video content from streaming boxes, Blu-ray players, or gaming consoles. It's also important to note here that this connection type will only support Dolby Atmos playback if your TV supports the HDMI eARC connection type. And finally, the HDMI 1, HDMI 2 buttons will let you select audio-video content coming from external HDMI sources, such as streaming boxes, Blu-ray players, and gaming consoles, for example. The remote control also has special studio-grade sound modes that let you optimize the sound coming out to better suit the content you're actually watching. On the Klipsch Cinema 1200, you get 6 of these sound modes. There's standard, direct, movie, music, game, and party mode, and they each have their own special use case. You should use standard mode for everyday listening with Atmos-enabled music, movies, and TV shows, mixed to 5.1.4. Direct mode is best for artist intent playback of movies, TV shows, stereo 2-channel music with the same output format as the source format, up to 5.1.4 channels. Movie mode is really best for enhancing the level of immersion during movies and TV shows. Music mode is there for when you need an immersive listening experience that's optimized especially for musical content, and game mode will give you the best immersive audio experience with video games. Finally, party mode converts all those Dolby Atmos channels into all-channel stereo. So you should use this mode to optimize the field of sound coming out of all the speakers to be better suited for background or party music. There's also night mode, which reduces the low-end energy for those late-night TV sessions while everyone else is sleeping. It's also really handy for those times you need to just quickly neutralize the dynamics of the sound coming out without stopping your movie. This mode will let you tame down the bass output that could resonate through walls of your home and disturb other people. Going all the way up to level 2 will completely remove the bass. So we recommend level 2 only for those times you really need to not disturb people in the household. Finally, Dialog Enhanced mode will toggle through different settings that push the dialogue in the center channel towards you or farther away in the sound field. In the 0 position, dialogue mode is off. As you move up through the higher numbers, dialogue in the mid-range frequencies is presented more prominently and clearly in the soundstage. Dialog 3 sounds a little too forward in the soundstage, so we only recommend this level if you have trouble understanding the dialogue. And if you press and hold the dialog button, it will reset it back to default at 0. If you need more control, the Klipsch Connect app will be updated to let you dial in more specific EQ settings and then save them for presets for later. Klipsch tells us a future update for the app is in the works, and that will give you extra custom sound shaping capabilities, and that's expected in late summer. Finally, the LED button is hiding a pretty cool trick up its sleeve. The LED button will let you toggle between different brightness levels of the LED screen on the front panel of the soundbar, and there are 3 settings here that you adjust with the remote for high, low, or just off. We like how the display can be dimmed, brightened, or even turned off, as this allowed our eyes to always focus on the TV screen and not on distracting lights. But if you hold down the LED button, the LED screen will also display what kind of content is being decoded. So if you're getting Dolby Atmos or just PCM, the display will show you this. This is a super handy trick that this soundbar has, so you always know if you're getting the real experience right from the source when it comes to movies or music encoded with Dolby Atmos. The Klipsch Cinema 1200 Dolby Atmos soundbar packs a ton of horsepower and cool tips and tricks, whether you are wanting to take full advantage of all the movies constantly coming out that are encoded in Dolby Atmos, or just wanting to throw an epic house party with some great room-filling sound. We hope these tips and tricks have helped you squeeze out every last drop of performance from your Klipsch Cinema 1200. Until next time, happy listening.